Hi everyone, it's Jerry. I'm on leechess.org and I'm going to play now a 15-2 game. So let's see what we get here. Okay, Sicilian. Let's go with knight f3. And what will black do? e6, d6, knight c6, e6 it is. Okay. Should I go with d4 or not? I may want to experiment with something else. Turn this into a King's Indian attack. Let's try for that. I'm kind of shifting gears now, so yeah. Let's go for these universal moves now. Knight on b to d2, g3, bishop to g2. Only at this point, I don't have to do this. This is played only when this move is played and there's the threat to exchange queens. So I'm going to hold off on declaring my knight's intentions. Let's get in g3. Let's see what black does. A big decision with the d pawn to go 1 or 2 squares. Black could consider moving this pawn again. Okay, so they're not so quick to give ground. Well, they're not so quick to, let's say, give up the e5 square. They're seeking control over e5. One of the ideas with the King's Indian attack is to establish a pawn on e5 and then go after the black king's throat. So d6 already takes some steps to stop this advance. So, pretty much locked into playing bishop g2. So let's get that in. I'll probably go with kingside castle next and still retain some flexibility with my queen knight. So let's see. Yeah, just castle right away. Yeah, let's just castle. There's a dog going crazy in the background. I don't know if you could hear it. Turn up the volume, maybe you could hear that. Wild dog. All right. Perfect timing, man. Perfect timing. You weren't barking just before I started this recording. But right now is the perfect time. It's not the crazy beagle, though. Okay. What to do here, besides talk about the barking dog? Rook to e1 seems useful. Where do I want to go with my queen knight? Not sure. You know, rook to e1 castles. I'm going to have to make a decision at some point. With my queen knight, my c pawn. I mean, what do I want to think about doing? Something like c3 and d4? Not so sure about that. What about this guy? Maybe something like this. A knight on c3. And bishop here. Maybe I already know my queen knight's place. Maybe I go with knight c3. And even consider going into like a delayed open Sicilian in a way, where eventually I do go ahead and play d4, and we have a c and d pawn exchange. I think I know my queen knight's place. Yeah, let's get him there. Yeah, I don't think that this is some idea. Doesn't seem right. It seems too slow, I should say. And yeah, even if I did go forward with this C3 and D4, there's always the follow-up of takes D5 or maybe D5 right away, looking to anchor in a knight on this square. So I'm giving some consideration to bishop to F4 to provoke some weakness. I'd like to play this advance and kind of disrupt this pawn duo. I know it's a pawn duo that's set back some. So what we might identify as a small pawn center. But this is a desirable move because it opens up this diagonal. And I'd like this knight to be able to move. I wouldn't mind seeing my king-knight exchange for their queen-knight, just so he's unmasked. On bishop f4 e5, maybe then I could look to play on the light squares. So for example, bishop g5, maybe I'm alright with giving up my dark square bishop and then focusing on here. Maybe even doing some kind of a knight dance into this square. It would be a hole as soon as this pawn pushes. So I'm leaning towards bishop f4. Yeah, I'm leaning towards that. Okay, let's give it a shot. Don't know if it's the correct idea, but we're going to pull the trigger on it. We're going to try something. Just under 10 already. E5, will they allow this? We're going to see. We'll first see. This is a reason I was pointing out earlier. Rook to e1. I don't know that this rook knows its place just yet. If I can be assured that the e file becomes half open, only then will I play rook to e1 or consider it more. But until that time comes, I think it's best that he stays put. It may so happen that when or if this is played, the direction to then go in is maybe even for an f pawn push. f2, f4, striking at e5. In which case the rook is ideally placed to support this advance. So the short summary here is I'm waiting on making a rook move until I am certain that a file is opened or half opened. So what are they going to do? e5, are they going to work more to try and get their queen bishop? Okay. So I did say bishop g5, and then focusing on this square here, but maybe not even. Well, let's go here to start. Let's see if they're going to go in for this. It would be a weakening move. Okay, they're gunning straight for this. I'm going to put a halt to that, make them work a little bit harder. A4 is basically saying, if you are to establish a pawn on b5, you will have to first help my rook. I could take the knight and jump right in. I think that this might have been a bit inaccurate to be shooting for this b5 move. Takes here, knight d5 right away. And, it's only temporary that I'm down the bishop pair because in just a moment I could regain it by taking. My idea here, I think, is to recapture knight d5, b5, chop chop, is to then make a knight move, like knight d2, which paves the way for f4. What's another move to consider? What's another plan to maybe shoot for? I don't know if it would be good for me if I allow, if knight d5 can be met with bishop takes knight, Like if I'm not shooting for this right away, if I go for this, and I may want to go for this in, you know, only after h6, only after there's a question put to my bishop would I capture. That would save a move over the line I'm considering right now of taking without being provoked. Knight d2, however, bishop e6. And I don't know, bishop takes, knight here, bishop takes, knight, pawn takes. How are things looking in that position? It'd be an opposite color bishop position. This knight would have to find a new home. And I think he would actually find it a bit uncomfortable to do that. Maybe I'm okay if I see bishop e6 and reply to knight d2. Let's go for this right away. Yeah, I gotta make a move. Quit trying to be a perfectionist. It's not happening. You're a long way off. You're a long way off. Knight d2, the old repositioning here. Well, I'd like to get this in right away. Actually, bishop e6, I'm just seeing now I could jump right into c4. e3 and then here. Yeah. So I really don't have any fear of bishop e6. I'm also with this move preventing d5 altogether, even if it was an idea. It's definitely not now. Okay, so I can't jump in here just yet. This knight's unprotected. Don't really think I could take advantage of that, though. Take the knight now. Is there any other useful move to get in? He's going to get kicked soon. I want to be able to play here. h3, is that useful? If b4 I take, pawn takes knight, bishop takes bishop. I'm on the queen. And then I recapture. I'd like to see them do this move because they give up c4. I think h3 is useful. Let's get one more useful move in. Yeah. And on bishop here, I'm still fine with the capture and then jumping into d5. Let's see. Will they play b4? On b4, I'm pretty much locked into taking. This is the third time now I'm playing against this guy, but I believe the first time it's a standard game. Could be wrong. Good opponent here. LM stands for Lichess Master, if you're wondering. Okay, let's see what they come up with. I'm thinking it's going to be b4, bishop e6. I'm fine with seeing h6. It's really a position. Oh, that's a move I did not consider. Huh. Maybe I don't exchange dark square bishops. No, I don't want to help you to develop. Bishop takes bishop, the knight I think recaptures, and I want to jump in here. Yeah. Also, I have this as an idea, so they underdeveloped with that move. Taking here, I'm helping them to develop. Well, I don't know about that. Maybe I could have done that. I think both are fine. This is, however, more direct. I made that move pretty quick. That decision pretty quick. Let's see. I have a nice open file here for the rook. At some point, maybe he can have something to say along the 7th rank. Who knows? For when or if the f-file opens up, this is an issue. I think I jump right in right now. Unlike d5, d4 is not a hole, these corresponding squares. F4? Things are getting pretty serious here. Yeah, maybe I play F4 first. Let's give it a shot. It's a pretty natural pawn break, huh? If they're not careful, maybe I play F5. If they play F5 themselves, they're vulnerable on this diagonal. I should be making a mental note to myself that I'm also vulnerable with my F-pawn advance. Both diagonal and rank. Yeah, the king is finding it a bit more uncomfortable when that F-pawn moves. Diagonal pressure. It's weakened on the diagonal, and also the rank. Not as cozy a home anymore when he's on H2. He starts to become that much more important to hang on to. It's already important as soon as G3 is played that your light square bishop is maintained. He's going to be an important defender for my king side. So they're allowing this advance. I feel like I want to address this knight position right away. I'm tempted to do this and push. If I play here, I think bishop G5 is a strong reply. And then I have to start worrying about the queen and the knight. I want to take care of this knight in my position right away. So knight d5, c3, giving him a kick. However, here pawn takes. There's knight f5 when he's hit. Maybe then actually g4 first. I could play g4. Yes, I think I'm leaning more towards this now. g4 to stop f5. Wow, things are getting real sharp now. F5? Maybe I go with... No. F5 still, that bishop G5 is a great bother. Have to watch out, they might play F5. Okay. We're going to give this a shot. I'm a bit nervous about it, though. Yeah, I'm a bit nervous about this G4 move. Will they just give my knight a kick? We're going to see. I'm a bit nervous of B4 here. Knight takes, pawn takes, F5. Don't know how things are going to work out from there. You know what? Here's another thing. If here takes, pawn takes, I have a new square for my knight. Knight E4 could be strong. Yeah, this is getting very, very sharp. Let's see what black does. To be patient in these positions. Try and squeeze as much out of the position as possible. I'm not so quick to jump in. I'd really like to first see B4. I want them to invest some tempo, to chasing my knight to this square he's certainly eyeing up, has been eyeing up for some time. On a bishop b7 move, I think this starts to make it life a little bit uncomfortable for black. Pressure on the rook, and the rook is tied down. He cannot contest the a-file. I'd be fine seeing this. On a good day, I'd like to have some kind of a pawn fixed on that f6 square. And... okay, they're just going in for the capture. Okay. Bishop takes knight is an idea, but no. Let's take with the rook. Or, excuse me, take with the bishop. Taking with the rook allows this. Pressure on d6. If bishop g5 is played, can I just drop back? Bishop here is a check. King h1. Yikes. I want to challenge this knight soon. I don't know if I want to play to d5 anymore. He's not such a good piece. Maybe it's more important if b4 I actually go to e2. Give up on this idea of knight. Okay. Preserve the dark square bishops or not? I think I need to. And where should he go? Let's go here. Bishop takes knight, queen takes, no tricky knight moves. Yeah, I'd like to see b4. b4, b3. b4, a knight move, b3, some combination of takes. b3, pawn push, knight c2 is only hitting one piece. There are certain scenarios where the pawn can come down here. Ideally, I'd like to push, not capture, because it gives the rook play. So if the pawn is on b3, I want to be able to play c3. Then there's a pivot square in c2, but nothing... Well, the rook is hit, and maybe there's even something like this, although my queen at that stage would be on d2. I'm looking at something like bishop takes knight, queen takes b4, a knight move, and then here, okay, bishop move. So that it feels like I have a moment to breathe after that move. That knight needs to be challenged. Like this. Yeah, let's get rid of this piece that's in my position. Bishop could give a check. Not sure which is better. It feels like king h2. Moving up the board some, securing h3. To be a bit mindful of an h5 strike. I have some pawns here clearly overextended. Black still has a much more compact kingside pawn structure. So to be on the lookout for this. It's a nice way to soften up my kingside position. Taking like this to win a pawn, weaken my king position further. It feels like this is a fine move. Certainly would be one that's on my candidate list playing as black. I could maybe consider, do I have the time for it? I don't know. But maybe avoid this knight exchange and then kick him away, and maybe he has to find a new home. Right now, this isn't a happy piece on c6. It's a tight game. Real tight game. Tense. Bishop e3 check, king h2. I'd be happy to see either capture here. I know my reply. Wow. Okay, so actually knight f4. But then b4. Knight f4, I think. Avoid the knight exchange, play c3. If I play c3, knight takes, queen takes, this is hitting. Maybe knight here and then here. Wow. Let's go for knight f4. It's a big moment. I think they have to play b4 right now to meet c3 with takes, and the rook comes to life, and there's pivot squares on b3. However, I could take this guy out. And another thing is b4, c3 takes, knight b5. This c3's pawn hit twice, defended 0. So maybe I have to disrupt the bishop's position before I consider kicking the knight out of my position here. Maybe I'm not able to play c3 in reply to b4. This is unprotected, indirectly hit. Knight h5 is something. Where are there unprotected pieces? This is a very, it's really wild position. Well, not too wild, but at any moment. Okay, that's a move I did not fear. Get that knight out of my position. And yeah, this is where black, I think, is going wrong now. I think when we look back, because now look at, I get to do this. Open position, I'd really like to see bishop takes knight. On b4, well, I mean, I could eliminate this guy. I'm threatening to win both bishops. Would the knight pair, let's say, have good homes to operate on? I don't know. Let's see how they react. We're kind of balancing out here on the clock. They have about a minute advantage. Got that increment, though. Given time, maybe I expand with d4. I have enough support for it. Suppose they avoid the exchange. Would I go with d4? Maybe. Oh, they're just giving up the dark square bishop like that? I don't think I want to take because of this and the pressure. Maybe I should start putting pressure on my opponent on the clock some. You know what? Let's rock them back. I have pieces in better position. Yeah. Let's establish a pawn duo in the center. Do so with tempo. Okay, let's see where the knight's going to go. Knight here. Knight h5. That has to be pretty annoying, huh? Yeah, so they're getting pushed back. Knight f6, knight h5. Things are turning. Eyes have to stay peeled, though. Okay, they're just cashing out right away. Striking like this. 1, 2, 3. I have 3 supporters. Where do I want to keep my dark square bishop? Okay, queen b6 is an idea. I think bishop here, actually. Yeah, just taking preventative measures against some potential pin. This was my natural... Well, you know what? That wasn't working because I could take here. Okay, g3 was better. I'm currently threatening a fork. d5. Okay, let's take like this. Yes. Still have that open A file. I have an open F file. My rooks are better than their rooks, trying to do a piece-by-piece assessment. Would they try and stop d5 by playing d5? This knight's unprotected. Let's keep this in mind. Bishop, rook, queen, tempes. Many different attacking moves against this knight. Okay. I have an idea of this now, right? Feels like a good square. The queen isn't guarding that right now. Whew. Can even consider d5. And then knight here, eyeing up c6 and f5. Don't know that I want to give up this square, though. A knight on f5, man, he's enormous. A knight on f5, you can't fight against a knight on f5. He's a monster. Also, they're without a dark square bishop. So if g6 to kick a knight out of the f5 square, h6, bishop h6. Knight g6, knight f5, knight h4, maybe bishop back, maybe not. Maybe I'm okay with giving up my light square bishop and there's something direct, very concrete. Here, knight takes, pawn takes, I get in f6. That has to be good. If I could make this g7 pawn flinch. Knight g6, knight f5. Okay, I feel like I have some serious attack going on now. I'm not taking. Taking allows this knight an excellent square. I'm certainly liking my decision with my bishop now. Okay, I think he still goes straight in there. Is there a reason to not play that right away? No. Not that I could see. Also, I have an eye on the clock, so... yeah. You just better make a move. Knight takes, pawn takes. f6. He's not playing. He's not playing. The queen is not playing until the knight moves, and, well, where's he going to go? Tough spot. Okay. I have knight d6. Okay, let's go queen d2. This might already be an idea, bishop h6. Pawn takes, queen takes, looking for mate there. Let's turn my attention here to the f file. Something's gonna there should be something dangerous happening against the black king. Rook a to f1. On knight here, bishop g5 is game over. Fork. It's one of the ideas behind queen d2. Doesn't allow this knight h4 move. This is one square that there is some coordination between the black pieces in the white position. So I think they're taking measures. Okay. Let's maybe try and provoke a weakness. Let's just see how they react to that. I gotta throw some punches. They're stopping knight d6 with that knight move. Maybe here and here. Yeah, let's do it. Rattle that knight position. Where's he gonna go if he's challenged? h6, I'm taking. Keeping this knight here. Okay, take with the pawn. Although my rooks look pretty good too. Let's go here. Let's do that. Oh, I'm dropping a pawn. Why'd I do that? They missed it. Let's just go here, defend d4. I have this. I haven't given up on this move. Let's keep pushing. Crack like that. I should have played f6 sooner, huh? Bishop pair versus knight pair. Don't want to do this so quick. Less than 20 for my opponent. Okay. I don't know. Let's go here. I'm not sure. My queen could do better. Didn't want to do it. Okay, floundering some. Let's take that pawn. You pawn grabber, you. Where's that knight going? Okay, kill that knight. Pile up on the G file. On the knight, I could take him out. Let's go here. Let's defend that pawn. Bishop here, double on the G file. Finally. No, my rook is pinned. Oh, I could have played this. Okay, tripled up. Bishop takes knight. Just move. Okay, actually I could do this, right? Oh, I could have taken the bishop then. That last move. Now I got it. I had on the previous move, as soon as the queen played here. Just take. Smashing through now. Whew, they resigned. That was tense, man. Whew. Alright. That was tense. Yeah, let's go through this one. Bringing up the analysis board. Ooh. Okay. Yeah. Well, hang on for one moment. Before I even look at the computer evaluation, I think that, well, there'll be different suggestions, of course, before we get to this point here, but I felt like things really turned in this position right here. Bishop here, I think, is where black really started to go wrong, because these next moves are me moving forward, and my opponent's replies are, what are they having to do? They have to demote their pieces. They're running in reverse. They're underdeveloping. c3, rob the knight of that square. He goes in reverse. I move forward, knight f3, threatening to grab the bishop pair. Well, he's avoiding, one of the bishop captures. d4, again, moving forward. So there's some concessions now. Position has opened up. I'm playing with the bishop pair, and I have a nice center now. So I think that there's certainly an improvement right here. Okay, they're calling for a knight there right now that the computer has this analysis. But yeah, there's certainly an improvement on this move, and I'm sure many other points throughout the game for both of us. But let's turn on the engine, and let's just get a feel for how the game went. Okay, I'm satisfied. I expected a little bit of a drop-off at some stage. I expected black to be better at some point, like significantly at some stage, but I guess there weren't any serious errors. So let's see. Kind of going through here. I've already made some pointers on this d6 move. If you go in for d5, there's d5, and then possibilities for a strong kingside attack. So bishop f4, is it alright with bishop f4? It's fine with bishop f4. Now bishop g5 wants to take the knight right away. a3, what's the story with that? Not really sure. Let's see. a3, am I going to be able to figure out the idea? Suppose there. Okay, yeah, a3, I'm not sure about a3. a4 is more natural. More human-like. Okay, knight d2. No issue with knight d2. Takes. h3, yeah, I was just trying to be extra patient here. I'm trying to get as much out of the position as I can. I wanted to see this. I wanted some time to be invested before I actually commit. Bishop takes knight. h3 is useful. Knight b4 seems awkward when you do all these prep moves. a6, rook b8, b5 seems b4, but knight b4 is an interesting way to guard the d5 square. Okay, that's cool. Right there, it's still even. He wants to go in for an exchange. Bishop e3, still holding as a pretty even position here. Now h4, rook e1, popping up f4, I guess is an okay move. g4, things started to get, I started to become a bit concerned around here. Takes, bishop takes. Yeah, this is where there's so many different move choices. I'm not throwing any great punch at black. They have what we might call a free move. Look at the position, try and come up with some plan. With my last move, I'm not giving any great direction to my opponent. So they have a free hand to come up with something. Knight e6. What was I concerned about right around here? Right around this point, instead of g4, this is what I did not like. And I'm glad I didn't do it. Yeah, because knight takes, and look at this knight. I'm exchanging this knight that's on, a square where how many options does he have? His best case scenario is that he has 6 options. I don't want to allow him to exchange himself off so easily. So I want to play against his poor position. So if I did, okay, now it's pointing out knight e2. If I did go with this, this was my concern. Yes, knight f5. Even, when I do try and kick the knight, it's this f5 square, and, well, they even want to go here right away. And apparently not maintain my dark square bishop. I have to do this. Takes here, and, ooh, look at these squares. 2 split pawns on my king side. Homes for the black pieces. Yes, this is an important structure to. You need to accurately assess that type of a structure, and that would just be awful. G4 certainly watches out for that knight f5 move, where if to just make a passing move, knight here, knight d5 is now much different. Takes, there isn't knight f5, but I still had my concerns here because of the move f5. Okay, I guess that's not quite working out, but takes first here, and then b4. Okay. I guess that's to give a new square for the knight. He's running low on squares with this pawn here. But, yeah, have to be careful of this, the knight stepping foot on f5. It's a very disruptive piece. So, okay, glad I didn't go with knight d5. I played g4. It likes knight e2 better. g4, I guess, is alright. Takes. Bishop g5. I avoid the exchange. I don't think that this amounts to anything. Bishop e3, king h1. I think I would have played here. Not too much of a difference. And then look to challenge this knight soon. I have a grip over these 2 pawn-breaking moves, f5, d5. Better rooks. Okay. With bishop e6. Knight there. Still, if this check occurs, is king h1. Any issues with king h2? No. Okay, they didn't do that. They played bishop f6. And it does like knight to f4. Knight f4. And this is where I was thinking b4. Bishop e5, and this is where there's the change that I thought there was. Or I thought there would be with bishop to e5. I know it's just slight, but this has been a really tight game. I think it's only ever been like plus or minus 0.3 throughout up to this point here where we move 20. So for it to go from even to 0.5, there's already some adjustment to be made there. It likes knight c6, but I wondered during the game about b4. b4 is also another move. I pointed out that if c3, there's takes, knight b5, and what am I doing about 2 pieces hitting this square? It's difficult. Likes black here, close to a pawn. So he's not so easily kicked with the b4 move in. b4 would have been better than this. Okay, they went with that, and now things are really turning. Knight f3, d4. It's just a growing advantage from here. Bishop g3. I went to e3. Yeah, this was my fear, but it isn't working, I thought, because I would have this, although maybe not. Some tricky stuff here. Take either rook and there's knight takes knight. It's complicated, to say the least. So I went to e3, just anticipating some potential pressure here. This is my X-factor bishop. It wants to push right away. I like just maintaining my center. Focus on improving my knight position some. Already there's some tricks in mind with bishop here. If I'm just to make a passing move, I think this is a move. It is. Yeah, it's gotta be. Pawn takes, queen takes, threatening mate. here, even f6, queen g7 ideas. So these ideas, you know, your black is without their dark square bishop, so playing against the dark squares, a super knight, pressure on a dark square, a bishop and queen, focused on the dark squares, should really raise, your attention should really be focused on the dark squares if that's the case. If you're lacking a dark square bishop, extra care is needed for sure. Just went with the doubling of the rooks, and I'm sure there's plenty of stuff missed from this point on. Much cleaner approach. It likes what, f6 right away? Yeah, they didn't take on f5, but I guess it's still winning. At this point here, they could take on f5. It's still winning. With queen there, I don't know if I would have done that. Queen b5, I guess other stuff wins too, huh? Queen b4. This knight doesn't have a square. King here. And then push. Knight there. Yeah, what do we have? Just a wide open position, the bishop pair. Okay. Well, they didn't grab on f5. Close to around 2 advantage. Just do not want to fall for any little tricks here. And it was never really slipped away. Could have taken that knight a little bit sooner on h6. Yeah. Yeah, this is where we're just blitzing it out. You know, easy to make a mistake here. And yeah, at that point I captured. And this is even leading to mate. Rook takes. Queen here. Push. Yikes. What's the trick here? Queen there. Oh. Check. And then mate. Clearing out that G7 square. Okay, well, interesting game, very tough fight. One of the more difficult standard games I've played. Yeah, very good game. As usual, feel free to leave any feedback to this video in the comment section below. And as usual, I hope you got something out of it. That's all for now. Take care. Bye.